Okay, hello and good morning. So hopefully the sound is functioning a bit better this time, since last time half the thing ended up having to be scrapped because of weird sound issues. So let's go ahead and do this thing. I should probably explain, by the way. So it's fairly similar to before, where whenever trying to figure out the audio on this end, I basically just have a bunch of meters in front of me here that tell me where everything is sounding, more or less. In this particular case, the actual in-game audio shows functionally non-existent, because last time it was about... Oh god, that's loud. Never mind. There we go. That should be better, hopefully. We'll turn that down just a smidge there. Okay, so now that everybody's eardrums have been well and thoroughly ruptured, let's go ahead and get on with this run. As per usual, as of lately, if you hear random noises in the background here, once again the dog got himself in trouble this morning. The guy just cannot seem to stop lately. Anyways, so here's where it stands at this point. So, after the discovery last time, so for anyone that missed it last time, it turns out that you can take a warlock, use a combination of Distill Life and Razorback to just sit there and kind of regenerate back to full health, pretty much shrugging off damage. There's a lot of benefits to that one. It didn't seem like much, right? And quite honestly, with what we have on hand, it's not something that we can really abuse as of yet. But it is something that can essentially be used for, like, say we're getting the edge in a fight and suddenly end up getting overwhelmed by a bunch of crits in a row. Suddenly we have the option to basically say, no, not taking damage anymore, just going to go sit in a corner and turtle here, and that's about it. So, at least we have that option available. Now, if set up with Clarity 3, it was just barely enough to be able to continue to do that kind of setup for about 7 or 8 turns before having an issue. If it's combined with the right setup, it can also create a situation where we can actually just keep doing it indefinitely. Now, that all said, that's all well and nice, but it's not completely functional yet. In order for that build to actually be able to take on some of the later stuff, we're still going to need more parts. So, here's our class situation at the moment. So, basically what we're looking at, in order to actually move forward and complete it, since we found out last time that even the easier parts of Hanging Gardens are going to be a bit of a thing, we need to be able to consistently have that option to recover and turtle while also having a whole lot of offense. While that build can technically do it, its overall survivability always comes down to either having enough evasion to dodge everything, coming down to enough resistance to be able to block everything, but not both. So in order to do that, and in order to be able to free up a couple skill slots, once again we're going back to the plan with the crafting books. So we have a few classes that we can use for their lower levels. We'll probably end up using the Spellblade for most of it. The temples actually give you an absolute crapload of experience, so we're probably going to have to swap classes a few times. But generally we want to stick to lower end scaling for those ones so that we don't get completely body slammed into the ground. At this point, since we have everything pretty much maxed out in terms of rankable skills that we're actually using, with a few exceptions. There's a few in there. Here, let's see if we can find them. Like, I want to say Augment Earth was one of the ones that still wasn't completely leveled up and stuff like that. Most of them are at rank 8. Apparently we haven't used hammers this entire run, which is kind of a hilariously stark contrast to the normal vanilla one. Apparently two-handed katanas still aren't up there. Spellbooks, every time I've tried to implement spellbooks, it's backfired. I do have an idea for a couple builds that could potentially revolve around those, but we haven't gotten there yet. Sidearms were kind of a similar situation. They were just too slow. They're kind of a harassment weapon to begin with, but I had some ideas to potentially just do mass slow with those. And in fact, one of them was with the ninja here was, to essentially spam a combination of poison and slow, and then just run around putting stuff to sleep, which can potentially work. It's just going to be very RNG dependent. So in fact, do we even potentially have the options to do that. Yeah, we've got Charm Darts. I forget if I banned Charm Darts. I don't think I did. Like, by this point, I want to say... Like, I want to say at this point, so much of the game has been updated that it's completely not busted to use range stuff anymore. It's definitely on par with anything else. And in fact, it would probably be a bit of a downgrade in most cases. Because even when I was going and trying like a mass charm strategy a little bit ago, it just it did not exactly work. So yeah, what we need to better explain this is we need to be able to do Grimsby. So, okay, issue with Grimsby is we need to be able to get the crafting book out of that and escape. So for now, let's do this. Let's go over here to Lufa Coast. Alright, let's go ahead and drop a save real quick. And make a little bit of progress here. Oh, actually, before I forget, since I'm sure somebody will ask eventually, the Deneb thing in there is from Reichs. He put the picture together for Christmas the other day. I was like, you know what? That would look really funny just sitting there staring at a sword, so why not? Alright, so Grimsby fight in a nutshell. There is no way in hell we're saving Lyndall. That's just a complete no-go. So, what we need to be able to do, and this is actually why I was hoping to pick up Wild Hunt before doing this, if you're wondering why we're doing ninjas, yeah, 20s, yeah, no, we're not going to be able to pull this off just yet. So we need to hit 20 on the ninja, and then we need to use Wild Hunt well, we're going to use a combination of Fruits and Wild Hunt to be able to go get the Fusilier in the back, and then basically just try to bum rush the healers, and then try to take out Martin. Super possible? Probably not, but whatever, we're going to give it a try. So in terms of what grind maps are even available at this point, I went through a few different options, and yeah, Tynemouth is actually not too great right now. Farampa is still not completely updated. Parts of it got new drops and stuff like that, but it's still not completely updated. But the overall party compositions are a lot better for where our current situation is here. Simply because they don't tend to have very many healers on the bottom route. So the first branch that you get off of it is just this fight, the river fight, the ravine fight, and then the mountain fight. They have a lot of pretty decent potential drops there at all levels, so it gives a good amount of money here, gives a decent amount of experience, and also they don't have very many recovery options, so thankfully it's a bit more doable. I will say I'm a little bit surprised by by how beefed up some of the endgame healers are at this point. It's definitely something that we can overcome, but holy crap, some of them got a little bit nuts. I believe the hang on. OBS is being a bit weird. I'm not sure if you can still hear the sound, but I can definitely see the video has paused for a second. Please stop doing that, OBS. I would really appreciate it. There we go, and we're back. Alright. But yeah, so ninjas in particular, I've been a little bit surprised by how well they do at low levels. I guess it completely makes sense because we've got really high stats and really high skills and everything. It should be kind of a given, especially the fact that we can basically become immune to melee attacks. It's pretty nice. If you're wondering why the stick build, by the way, it's just been very effective in terms of having high DPS while also being relatively light. So that's been nice. I can't really say that particular turn went terribly well, but oh well. Probably should have actually gone for the putting to sleep last round. So there's a few more things that I'd like to put together for this guy. As it stands... wait, whoops. I did not mean to... Hang on. Let's fix that. Didn't mean to try to put myself to sleep there. Let's go ahead and have this one take a nap, and it misses anyway. Oh well. But yeah, no, in terms of endgame healers and stuff like that, we're definitely going to need a lot more options. I'm hoping if we have high enough stats with the ninja here, we might be able to make some cheesy plays there. So far, the Warlock has been by far the most well, the most viable in terms of just staying power. Surprisingly, even more than the cleric and stuff like that. Because, yeah, just the fact that they can completely shrug off every single debuff, as well as the fact that they can constantly heal 100 a round. It's workable, just not perfect. So, we'll see what options come up there. And, yeah, we'll see if this particular setup is still viable. I think I actually need to update it for a bit more healing. Basic healing leaves aren't cutting it anymore, and I'm not sure they're terribly keen on just doing regular melee attacks to feed TP here. But you can kind of see how this is at least a bit more workable than what was going on last time. Now, there's only 2 classes that are able to make use of that whole turtle strategy, so going to be Spellblades and Warlocks. Actually, 3 whenever we get to Lord. It is very possible that after... Please miss. Ah, crap. Yeah, I think we're going to have to reset that one real quick. So it is realistically very possible that after we actually get through the temples there, that we should be able to maybe do something with POTD. Reason I'm saying that, I'm fairly confident as far as the temples go. Less confident in terms of the pre-temple fights, actually. Because bosses are whatever. It's one unit, as long as there isn't too much of a difference in terms of how many turns somebody gets to take. I'm pretty sure we can match them. The issue lies specifically in when they have more than 2 healers. Or for that matter, just many healers in general. Because, yeah, obviously we have a little bit of a hard time dealing with that. Not very many classes have the ability to deal with multiple units at once. So, you know, that's where the challenge of the run comes, obviously. Alright, I think we want to go for a different setup here. Because this original one was kind of just meant to power through the early levels of getting this ninja set up. Alright, let's do this. So for one thing, we're probably going to go from Cudgels to 1 HKs, because I'd like a mass sleep move. And I believe we actually... Hang on, what do we even have as far as our options go? Well, for one thing, we're 1 weapon upgrade behind, so that definitely wouldn't... actually, maybe we'll stick to sticks and then just upgrade the weapon there. So that's still... I mean, it was still viable while out of date, so... That's okay. I'm curious, why did it do this? I mean, it's not a bad setup, I'm just kind of curious. But yeah, we definitely want more evasion, though. More evasion and resistance, so yeah, we were actually out of date on 2 different things there. Yeah, and if you're wondering, Wild Hunt is at 18, so we will have it by 20. Now let's see. Mind's Eye, I feel, is still cheesable. I haven't been using Art of War, just because he uses consumables, and I believe he only has Decoy at this point, which is amazing. Just, yeah, can't even use it yet. Have a few paper dolls lying around. That'll be very useful later, and especially once we get access to Lord, that'll be very handy, but for now, not so much. But, let's see here. I'll probably replace that with something else. What do we want here? Thinking maybe Teratology? Could potentially help out with the Griffins. Max TP, he doesn't really need with this, so we can get rid of that. Reflect damage. Could be. Pact abilities. I don't really know why I picked up the pact abilities, because it doesn't really do anything for us, but it's there, in case it's a requirement for anything, I suppose. Alright, we got Oglight going. What kind of Augs do we need for this guy? Oh yeah, right, he's still using sticks, so Oglight is perfectly fine. But yeah, max TP we don't really need. Do we want Opportunist? And there's nothing really to pick up right now at the moment. And we already pretty much hit everything at 100%, so I'm not sure that'll be handy. I guess we'll just put Reflect Damage for the hell of it. And then still stuck at counter 1. Alright, whatever. That works. Yeah. terms of money, I don't know what we're looking at right now. So part of this little mini grind here was also just to get a little bit more money going, because we are absolutely broke. And while I did get a few extra little craftables and things like that, in fact, I ended up picking up a little bit of a setup for later. Ended up making a vigor seal. Because one thing I'd like to have the option for later is kind of just the complete turtle setup. So if we... Alright, so later on down the line, I believe it's from the fire temple there, but there's going to be pants. And those pants are very good pants. But those things have stop ward on there. There's, I believe, a vest with stun ward as well as pants with stop ward. Frees up a skill slot, as well as frees up the need to be equipping the Azure necklace. I mean, it's very good. However, there's 15 extra vigor point or vitality points on the vigor seal there. Okay, the reason why that's important and why I would sacrifice a whole bunch of offense as well as luck as well as stun immunity for that, if you stack vitality high enough, you just basically become immune to damage. I mean, not completely immune, but it's enough to the point where it could scale down to where you can do some pretty cheesy stuff with it, potentially. But, oh, let's see, this looks like FF Tactics, never played the series before. Yep, this is the, essentially where FFT came from. It's actually the same people that even made it. So this is actually a modded version of Tactics Ogre for the PSP. Essentially a remake of the original Let Us Cling Together of all awkward names for the SNES and PS1. But yeah, general idea. This one is kind of like, okay, so when they made the SNES game and everything else, their main focus was like, okay, we want to make this big dramatic story. We want to be able to to make this entire world where everybody cares about all the characters and whatever else, and everyone's always dying all over the place, like a whole Game of Thrones situation. But yeah, it was an amazing game, really fun game, but yeah, ultimately, they had a little bit of technical limitations at the time. So then when FFT came about, it was basically those same people looking at it like, well, let's take the stuff that we really wanted to show off from Tactics Ogre, and let's go ahead and make it into a different game. So yeah, FFT is functionally the chaos route of this game, as it's called, because this game has like an absolute crapload of endings and different routes, and depending on where you go at different times and who lives or dies in your party, you basically have all kinds of different outcomes that come out of it. But yeah, the PSP one in particular is like layers on layers on layers of different mechanics. And this particular run, again, it's called the Impossible Run for a reason. It's it's been a pretty wild one. But anyway, so yeah, when FFT came around, it was basically a boiling down of the original Tactics Ogre, and then when they remade it on PSP, they took the stuff that was a little bit busted about FFT and just added it into the game. So, for example, almost every skill from FFT is in here, just in a different form. So, like, for example, instead of having something like Kamito sitting around, where you just, you get somebody up to, like, 90 bravery and you have a 90% chance to just immediately cancel somebody's turn if they try to physically attack you. Instead, you would do something like a preempt knockback combo on this one. So, like, the Swordmaster classes get access to preempt, which allows you to just attack before another guy, which then can be combined with knockback, which means you can push them back a tile and they never get a chance to attack that way. But yeah, so if you honestly, coming from FFT, I would say probably Tactics Ogre PSP is the place to start. You may notice that there's kind of two versions of it around. You've got the original and you've got the One Vision mod, which is what this is playing on right here. Both are fantastic. Typically, it's recommended to start with vanilla, but hell, you can transfer over your save to the One Vision mod after the first run. See, I wish I could figure out how to mod something. I have a ton of good retro games on. Do you have a PSP or a Vita? This is actually streaming off of a Vita right now, believe it or not. But yeah, in most cases, modding stuff is just a process of of getting some files transferred onto it. Like, for example, the Vita, for all of the talk over how complicated and whatever else it was, the entire modding process consisted of taking one file on your computer, essentially changing the name of it, moving it over to the Vita with the transfer system that it uses, and then from there you can just basically plug it in like a USB drive and just chuck stuff onto it. That was really about it. See, I do not, but I could figure out how to do it. I would get one. Yeah, like, PSP and Vita are probably going to be your best bets in terms of, like, the sheer amount of... If you love tactics games and stuff like that, the sheer amount of stuff you can put on there. Like, a quick little moment here. Here, let's go to the live screen. Don't worry, we can go back to it. But like right here, we've got this guy 4 different versions of Tactics Ogre Battle. OB64 still can't run on this thing, which sucks, but oh well. FFT, both versions, the better one and the one with the extra classes. Vagrant Story and all that kind of thing. I mean, the fact that you can mod so much stuff on this thing is it's pretty comical, actually. You can even get the original XCOMs working on this thing. So yeah, both original XCOMs as well as new com can work on this dang thing. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah, Vagrant Story is awesome. Which, by the way, somebody's been requesting to see more Vagrant Story lately. So I suppose we'll get on that at some point. Funnily enough, my original run of that thing kind of got stuck at around the point where you end up getting the ability to warp around. Right in the end game there, and technically speaking, while I know a lot of the mechanics, I technically didn't finish Vagrant Story, so, that's something to go back and take a look at. But yeah, I love that game, especially the music. Holy crap, that music's good. Like, the cathedral theme is just, whew. Alright, let's see, so PSP or Vita is what you recommend? I mean, generally speaking, yeah. As far as overall flexibility, and especially if you like SRPGs, this is definitely one to go for. And also, actually, I didn't notice that I had a thing here. So we'll get a Rhythmia going. Smack the Griffin. Alright, get a stat card here. Beautiful. And by the way, to kind of explain, coming from FFT here in terms of what's going on mechanically, instead of like a Brave or Faith system, this one's just got like a whole pile of different stats. I've done a few guides of that. As far as this game goes, I put out more videos than anyone, I think. It's kind of a really specific niche, so I would think so. There's actually been a few more folks putting out different runs and whatever else, including one guy that's doing full voice acting for all of it, which is pretty cool. All right. Let's see. I think I want to take a little bit of a heal here. I forgot to pick up Field Alchemy. I needed to have that going. But I suppose if we get some people to take a nap here, sleep bomb this guy and friggin' run for the hills. I mean, at least we got one kill out of it. Unfortunately, they did spawn with Cleric this time, so that's a bummer. Alright, let's see. Can find how to mod then on YouTube, I'm guessing? Yes, and there's actually even a, put out a video a while ago of how to get One Vision running on a PSP or Vita. It's not terribly complicated. I mean, for the PSP, it's just a matter of just plugging it in the USB drive, putting one update file on there, running that update file, then doing the follow-up that allows it to permanently update itself, which puts it on what's known as custom firmware. And funnily enough, that's actually how you get the Vita running. That this is technically a PS Vita emulating a PSP running a custom firmware, which sounds way more complicated than it is. But yeah, most of this stuff is just available online. It's fairly easy to figure out. It's just in a lot of cases there's a lot of specific terms thrown around, so it sounds scary. And by the way, if you're playing the vanilla version of this game, a cudgel build like this is definitely not something you want to go for. But, you know, it's something you can technically do. Although, saying that, when I did the solo of the vanilla game, I actually did run maces for a while. But yeah, if you put One Vision Vita, I think that video should come up. I forget if I have anything set up in terms of commands or whatever else to pull up that guide. I might not. I don't know. Okay, we're just gonna go ahead and sleep on these guys. Something I would probably mention, by the way, I might be kind of weirded out by the leveling mechanics in this game. Because when I was talking about layers on layers on layers, one of the things that they did for this one was they were trying to fix how leveling worked in FFT. It does have a job system. It's very different, though. So your characters have their own individual stats as well as like their class stats and stuff like that. So, for example, this guy right now is running a ninja with a cudgel build, which wouldn't be possible in the vanilla game. But anyway, details. But like you have an absolute crapload of classes in this one. Like I think it's 54 or some crap like that. But instead of going for specific requirements or whatever else, you actually just get licenses for them. So I think that was originally something from like FF12 or something along those lines. However, every time somebody levels up as a particular class, every time that somebody did that, they get a slight bonus to their stats across the board, preferring the ones that that particular one ended up using. So the way it's kind of balanced is early on, most of the enemy units will be dropping loot bags with just whatever random crap they were carrying around. As time goes on, oh, what was that? I think the cat's knocking stuff off my wife's desk again. So as time goes on, they start dropping more stat cards. You may occasionally see cards flipping around on the map here, which give you a small bonus to those particular stats in its place, because eventually you run out of classes to level. So anyway, let's see. Yeah, the job system is one of the biggest draws to the FFT. Yeah, it does work a little bit differently in this game, though, because not all of the skills are transferable. So, for example, something along the lines of, let's say, your attack pluses or your item proficiencies or something like that, that would be able to transfer, but something very specific, like let's say, let's say you've got a sword master who's learned preempt or something like that. They would only be able to use it as that class. There's one exception, well, one mostly exception, which is for your main character. If you go a particular route in the story, they can become a lord later on, which is kind of like a custom build your own class type situation. And they can use most of the skills, especially... Oh, please roll low on this dead anchor. I was really thinking I'd get a turn here. Please roll low. This is going so well. Okay. Come on, let me have my round. Anyway, so yeah, in terms of mixing and matching weird hybrid classes, you don't see as much of that. But you do see a lot more options in terms of just all of your classes being pre-made, so to speak. And I actually made a guide a while ago in terms of the closest things in at least the One Vision mod in terms of stuff that'd be close to FFT. I probably should have made one for vanilla now that I think about it. I should probably do that this week. But yeah. So most of the stuff that you'd probably try making a hybrid for, that class probably already exists somewhere. It's just a matter of finding it, and, well, some of them are a little bit odd to find. Like, for example, one of the routes through the game, you can actually recruit one of the bosses, which they have a unique class and everything, which has a whole bunch of skills that can transfer in from other classes, including essentially being able to, to dual-wield some of the best weapons in the game, but, well, you'd have to take them out of their custom class, which would no longer be available once you took them out of that class. And getting a hold of the licenses to transfer them back is a bit of an involved process. But yeah, a lot of that stuff is pretty intentional. But to explain why on Earth you're looking for a specific type of zombie that only shows up during rainstorms on one particular highway, yeah, it can be a little bit odd sometimes. Do you have a YouTube? Yes, I do. Yes, I does. It's under the same name, just Coffee Potato. Or you can just look up anything one vision-wise, and you'd probably find at least 10 bajillion videos, because all of these eventually end up going back over there. Alright, so we're getting absolutely peppered by these archers here. I should probably mention, because the FFT thing, the archers are ridiculously good in Tactics Ogre, just so you know. And as far as the series goes, brief little rundown. It's kind of like brief rundown on how the different games handle stuff. So originally it started off with a game called Ogre Battle March of the Black Queen. It's actually like a real-time strategy type situation, where you make little squads of 5. And oh, hell. Dang it, I thought I was out of crossbow range. Well, time to redo that one. Anyway, what was I getting at here? Yeah, this is the downside of ninjas. You get no shields. No shields anywhere. You can use parrying daggers later, but that's part of the item grind I was planning to go for. Anyway, so as far as how they go, March of the Black Queen basically played like a board game for all intents and purposes, with items completely randomized. You're sending squads of 5 around to go all over the map, interact with different towns, and either like liberate or capture them or that kind of thing. It's a pretty wild experience. Like, most of the fights are, well, not most of, you basically have limited options in terms of your fights. So, like, say you've got a little FFT type, skirmish type situation, and you have your squad of 5, and they go in, and they go at each other, and your only options are to tell them to go attack the leader, attack the strongest, attack the weakest, or just do what you think works best. It actually gives you more control than it sounds. It's actually got a pretty decent amount of all that stuff, but still. Well, thank you. Appreciate the subscription there. But yeah, so that one's a bit of an odd ride. If you're a fan of really chaotic board games, I would recommend that one. It's one of those ones that's really a solid hit or miss. Like, people end up really liking it or really hating it. Depends on how much you love chaos. But just like every other game in the series, there's a whole lot of choice and consequence going on, so pretty much everything you do throughout the entire game is being judged. The game is very, very judgy. It even has a meter to let you know how much it's judging you. So there's that. Let Us Cling Together was the second one. That's the one where they looked at the first game and thought, you know what? We have this whole massive fantasy war simulation going on. We got all this whole world written up and put together, but we want to experience the individual stories of all these characters that we have going on in our head. And so then they made Let Us Cling Together. It was this whole cinematic experience and whatever else. I say cinematic because seriously, a lot of it was shockingly good looking for the SNES. And so yeah, it's this whole story of this orphan brother and sister that are going around trying to make their life work as refugees, eventually getting involved in a whole rebellion type situation. And yeah, stuff just goes all wild from there. Let's just say that they are trying to escape war crimes for the most part, for the early part of the game. And then you get involved in the war crimes, and then stuff gets really dark. This series gets very grim despite the, heroic sounding music and everything else. Like, under the surface, it's all pretty depressing. There's actually even little entries. So if you know the little report thing that nobody ever read in FFT? So basically, it started in this one, as the Warren Report, as it's called, which, funnily enough, that guy gets knocked into a coma. Anyway, so yeah, he's just basically reporting on all the stuff that's going on throughout the story. And you even find out at the very intro, when your characters go and try to assassinate the wrong people, somebody else tried to assassinate the right people, and it does, like, they're like, yeah, so these guys tried to do this dumb thing. They basically got pasted all over the street. Sucks to be those guys. In other news, like, it's just casually mentioning how screwed your characters were at the start if they didn't make a complete mistake. It gets grim. Anyway, so that one's pretty fun. You had a pretty steep curve in the SNES and PS1 version. There's technically a Saturn version with voice acting, which is kind of nuts. I'm a little bit surprised that the community doesn't talk about that one more. I see folks mention it every now and then, and I've actually tried emulating it. The Saturn is a pain in the everything to emulate, so yeah, that's not looking likely anytime soon. But that's where that one is. Then the series got transferred over to a couple other people for a little while, where they made Knight of Lotus and Ogre Battle 64, which are some folks' favorite. Personally, Knight of Lotus is probably, well, my second favorite in the series. Its whole gimmick was that you're actually playing as the opposite side, and you get kind of a glimpse into the other end of things, as well as the fact that it had a pretty cool emblem system. So, for example, all your characters will get little mini achievements, and they've got this little badge case as one of their stat sheet pages and all that. And you basically unlock classes through doing specific things. So, for example, if you wanted a Valkyrie, you'd need to have a female soldier that went and stabbed 2 people at once with one spear. So it's just cool having stuff locked behind that. Let's see. So you have Phil Seal on YouTube. Been debating getting it on my Switch. I have Sky 5, but have yet to start it. Dude, Phil Seal is amazing. Like, in terms of the FFT formula, it is hands down like the greatest version of that formula I have ever seen. Full stop. It's like this Ogre has its own system, but for the whole FFT thing of cross-classing and making weird hybrids and stuff, sweet Jesus, I've never seen something as good as Phil Seal. It's by far the gold standard for all that stuff as far as I see it. To kind of briefly explain why, you can cross-class pretty much anything. The system is very freeform. You have a ton of customization options, for everything, and not just units, but like the game itself. Like, the run that I was doing was setting all the possible difficulties and complications to maximum. Not to mention the AI actually knows what it's doing. Bear in mind, yes, the animations are not amazing, but something to bear in mind there is it was a couple that made it. It was just a husband and wife team, as I understand. They pour their heart and soul into it, and I have to say, some of the animations, again, they're not like a full animation studio and whatever else, but the ones that are there, they tried. They did their best. Mechanically, it is fantastic. So, yeah, definitely one of the most recommended things I've played in years. And actually would recommend the DLC as well. It adds like a whole side mission system and whatever else. You don't really need it for a full first playthrough and all that, but definitely going forward there, it's pretty awesome. Actually, if there was time today, I was hoping to do a bit of Phil Seal. But yeah, once I think once the One Vision solo is run or done and all that kind of thing, I'm definitely doing more Phil Seal runs. But like, for example, that one in particular that I was talking about, the the max difficulty permadeath run, which, yeah, it does have a permadeath system if that's your jam. It's there. It's funny because it's kind of a interestingly forgiving one, in which if a character goes down, they don't immediately die. They actually end up losing 10% of their stats, or some random stats, and then they end up getting 1 injury counter, and then once they get up to 5 injuries, that's when they're actually permadead, which is a neat way to handle it. Kind of a roguelike system going on. And man, I need some better RNG here for sure. By any chance, can I... Yeah, I can't take out this guy. I don't know how well this is going to go. In fact, am I within range? Do I want to do that? Sorry, thinking out loud here. Alright, anyway. So yeah, like, as far as that max difficulty run goes, there's nothing about it that should be possible in theory. Like, we're talking about a situation where, like, most of the units do 1 damage, almost, like, pretty much get one-shotted by everything. Because the way that I have the difficulty set on that one, they automatically scale to their maximum allowable. Everybody is just able to use endgame items from the start. There's no limitations on what weird skills they can get, so you get somebody that's coming in with, like, friggin' mana shield, dual-wielding guns, going and getting all kinds of crazy percentage scaling moves and stuff like that. And yet still, it's doable. Let's see, also saw Assault and Sanctuary, haven't picked up that one yet either. Also a fantastic one. Basically, if you love Castlevania and Dark Souls, it's the nice little medium between the two. it's got some fun stuff going on of its own. But yeah, another solid title there. That's one of these ones that I haven't really done very many runs of. I think it was just the gun run that I did. But very nice, very atmospheric, especially if you had a Vita at the time. That was one of those ones that came really highly recommended. Funnily enough, it was originally developed for the Vita, then did not actually come out for the Vita. Sometimes stuff's fun like that. And then, yeah, it eventually did get on said Vita, but without the multiplayer, which doesn't really matter that much, because there really wasn't too much to the multiplayer. You just could call in help. It wasn't really the thing that made the game. But yeah. Another one that's fun to do weird runs of. Alright, so we're at another stalemate here. Like, I feel any classes that are getting above level 10 here are starting to get into stalemate scenarios. Like, once they start getting better gear on their archers and stuff like that, and there's a hard time avoiding them. So what I need to do is survive for a little bit, get to this cleric, hopefully chip away at the cleric. I need to have somebody injured. Yeah, I need to get one of them injured while also having a finisher built up. That's how I get rid of the cleric. And actually, this kind of stuff is how that Felseal works. It's like there's so many scenarios where just coming up with crazy strategies to make stuff work. And if you have everything unlocked, or actually even the standard difficulty is pretty wild. But if you have everything completely uncapped for enemy units, you can wind up with some pretty crazy stuff. Let's see, do you play mainly older retro-style games, or have you tried Fire Emblem Three Houses? I've watched a little bit of Three Houses, and honestly, Fire Emblem kind of lost me when they started doing the whole dating mechanic thing. It just, I don't know, it feels weird. Because, see, part of it is, for me, part of it is just, I like to be able to see the game and think, hey, this seems, reasonable enough. I can believe this is happening. Like in this universe and whatever else, stuff's pretty grim. Generally, generally speaking, a lot of your physical classes are kind of owning everything. There's magic classes, sure, but they're pretty low-key by fantasy standards. They're definitely boosted in the One Vision mod, but overall you can kind of see what everybody's doing there. Like, you see a lot of clerics going around and holding high positions, despite the fact that they are pretty crappy in general. Like, they tend to fall off pretty quick. But then you look around and, well, lore-wise, there's pretty much undead everywhere, so they're more or less keeping the endless zombies at bay. Because they're the only ones that know how to exercise them efficiently. And stuff like that. So a lot of it just kind of fits together in terms of, believing that it's all going on there. With Fire Emblem, especially with the newer ones, like, the GBA ones I absolutely love. Like, FE8 Randomizer is one of these ones that I've run several times and loved it every time. But, yeah, I tried Awakening for quite a while there, and, it's, like, the balance in it was all based around the weird relationship mechanic and stuff like that, so like, in that particular one, it was a case where I tried doing a completely unpromoted run and stuff like that, and stuff would just insta-die. It was completely balanced against that kind of thing, and then I tried doing another one. Well, okay, that is to say, not everything insta-died. Anybody that was married became invincible. Everybody that wasn't married just died. Like, at that point, it was just teams or nothing. And those teams became invincible to the point where it made sense that they had a fast-forward button, because at the very last fight of the whole thing, there was 2 unpromoted units who never took a grind fight that were just sitting there as I was mashing the fast-forward button as everything did, like, 0% for 0 damage and 0 crit. It really was not great. And then it just kind of seemed like they kept leaning into that kind of stuff. So it seemed like it changed a little bit for Three Houses, but it's just everything about the setting, the systems, it just doesn't do it for me. I don't know. it's just odd. But yeah, I mean, it works for some folks, so good. They have a thing they enjoy then. Oh, hell. I wish they'd stop rolling that last second crit. Alright, fine. We'll stop trying to do Time Mouth. Or stop trying to do Farampa here. Let's see. Saying dating sims on the games. Yeah, and I mean, it's not like I have any issue with that particular, with, you know, like, relationships and games or whatever else, if they actually make sense. Like, one of the ones I mentioned earlier with Knight of Lotus there. Technically speaking, there's the option to get your character hitched by the end of the game, and it's kind of, funnily enough, it's an ending that ends up completely upending the entire plot of the series, and it's probably my favorite ending of the entire series. But that's because it kind of makes sense. Like, I mean, you basically have some dude that winds up getting saved by an abuse victim, and long story short, they're like, hey, so I understand you've got your own crap going on, but my situation sucks. Do you want to just go hang out? It's like, you know what? That seems more believable than just somebody went from murdering somebody to having their kids in a week. You know. Well, under consensual circumstances, never mind. Mind's going to dark places. Moving on. Yeah, maybe we want to back out of the Kudja build here now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know. We'll see. But that all said, did we get a... Yeah, we got a no cleric spawn, so this is doable. I should point out, as far as the series as a whole, this mod has far more effective clerics than usual. Because one of the things that a lot of folks noticed is that they didn't wind up using healers for the most part in the endgame. Like, usually folks ended up using them, especially in the remake, it was usually out of habit. Either habit or convenience. So for example, just like FFT, items end up taking over in terms of overall power. And unfortunately, though, yeah, for this one, a lot of your ridiculously good endgame items all were locked behind a pretty iffy crafting system. So, yeah, if you feel like crafting about 8 separate things in order to be able to make a full heal item, you have that option if it's really how you feel like spending your time. But, generally speaking, it's not something you'd want to do. And I'm scatterbrained all over the place today. Let's just nuke this guy. Or all of these guys. Yeah, this guy ended on, or landed on a very weird level right now. Because we're at the point where a lot of them are running around with spike shields, so we're getting reflect damage on a whole lot of attacks here. And usually it's not much of an issue, but it's... Oh, come on, 25%? Is that how we're playing this? Rude. Just plain rude. We got the spawn we needed and everything. Do we go double claws? Maybe we go double claws. Or just claws in general. Because we still get the double hit move, we still get a big boom move. But I don't want to spend money on... No. We need 1 level. That's all we need here. We need 1 win. And I can just switch over to anything else. I just don't want to spend money on it because we're kind of running on a limited budget. Oops, sorry for hitting the mic there. Yeah, definitely not going to manage to build or beat a Vanessa and Way fight right now. Let's see, what other options do we have? I mean, Golborza is not terrible, but it tends to spawn with 2 clerics. Tynmouth either has all clerics or no clerics, which both work just fine. Kind of 2's the magic number that's terrifying. Bordeaux might be a bit more doable. Bordeauxable, one might say. Just because it tends to spawn mostly slow units and monster units, and especially if you can get a sleep bomb off on a heavy unit, usually they're out of the fight for quite a while. At least so I've seen. Alright, so what are we looking at here? They got 1 cleric. Fair enough. Well, we're gonna go for that then. Yeah, if we want to do poison, I think I can just throw around a bunch of poison shurikens everywhere. Just deal with him that way. Although this guy's doing 1 damage anyway. Yeah, for first impressions of the series, this run is definitely not what you want to be looking at. Like, what? Poison shurikens everywhere. Caster's doing 1 damage, is that the norm? Not really. Not even a little bit. Alright, I was hoping to hit the other guy, but that's fine too. Good rest of your stream. Thinking of go and play a bit of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Alright, well, you go ahead and enjoy your Vikings then. Have yourself a good time. Oh, actually, before I forget, if you're doing the whole modding thing, FFT has a really good mod called Cerebro. I think it's just ! Cerebro to pull that one up. But yeah, that miss is pretty darn dandy. We actually did a few runs of it a little bit ago. And then I have one that's been sitting in limbo forever for no particular reason, it just kind of has been. Anyway, just throwing that out there. Really should do more of that, but it's just there's so many runs going on at this point. And that was just at that awkward moment where it's so close to the end, but it's still so far to the end, you know? Can we read me a... It's a hard maybe. If we do this one, we can pretty much guarantee he dies of poison, though. Because that poison should last longer, or should last about as long as his shackle. And I don't believe he has does he have tabula? We're screwed if he has tabula, but we'll see. Because he can just completely shrug out of all that stuff if he does. Does he have oh, crap. Well, so much for that plan. Please don't tabula. I really should have just gone for the stun. There's probably less of a chance he would have tabulated out of that. For Shackle, I'm almost certain he's going to do it. Yeah, there he goes. Please tell me you're going to ignore your turn. Surprisingly, he did. Right. What I can do is get some damage off until we can actually get to the guy. Or we can actually smack this wizard and try to put him to sleep. Well, worth a shot anyway. That's fine. That's not fine. Please parry. Good. This is not looking great. We're facing the wrong way against that archer. Please don't crit. Good. Please miss. Come on now. I could get it. It's the one chance he has to do damage. Alright. Can we just mass nuke this situation? So we can get rid of him there. Gets rid of Wizard Guy too. Gets rid of most of them. I just have to hope I'm out of archer range because this is a one-time opportunity here. Oh, crap. Right. Well, should have expected that one. Thanks, reflect damage. I think that's the only time I've ever died to reflect damage, because it's just such an oddly specific scenario. Alright. Fantastic. Crap. Okay, maybe we will just go for the claws. That's about as close to a shield as we're gonna get. Alright, what do we have extras at? We have an extra Pooperus. And Just one of everything else, it's fine. Extra crossbow. Try not to mash too much, because I don't want to accidentally sell too much stuff. Actually, wait, can we use this yet? No, we can't quite use that. Sell a couple bucklers, sell some targes. Oh, here we go. Helmets, that should give some... Or maybe not. Yeah, the economy is looking a bit more balanced these days. Because before you'd get like 2k for every boulder item. I believe the worm scale, because we're going to need those for the final fight if we ever get there. We need at least 3 of them suckers. Worm scale is a bit more common, but we're going to hang on to it for now. Right, ring of might. Will I ever make a seal of might? No. So we'll get rid of that. See, like, Seal of Vigor is a whole lot of vitality. That's the biggest vitality accessory in the entire game. I think just highest vitality item in the entire game, full stop. So that one's worth doing. But, yeah, some of the other ones, not so much. Okay, so yeah, we literally can't even buy a better claw right now. Oh wait, I'm in the sell menu, aren't I? Durr. Good job, brain. Try too hard today. Alright, get our cat claws. Do we get a second one, or do we go for the dagger? Because I was really liking claw and dagger earlier. Because potentially you could knock 2 units out at once, or knock a unit out as well as leaving them poisoned. I mean, it costs a ton, but we might need it later. Alright, fair enough. I think the reason I dropped Sword Masters was because we weren't getting much return. Weren't getting much return in terms of being able to afford their next weapon, and weren't really getting much out of the class for it. Sidearms, not so much. What about Art of War? What can we do here? Because we're going Light anyway. So probably worth picking up Light Shear. What else? I don't expect to use Shadow Step much. I'll probably never use Water Step. And Venom and Bridle, worth it. And Benumb, also probably worth it. Let's see if we can pick up all of them. The only downside is that they're going to be taking consumables, so that sucks. Slightly short. What can we sell for that? I guess technically speaking, I can't use Geomancers, but I like the fact that it's at least taking an item slot there. Right. Yeah, I can't even do any more crafting right now because it's just out of the budget. I might say it's a little bit of a waste, considering this class is going to be temporary, but later on it'll be worthwhile. And it's just right now that we're having a little bit of a rough time. Oh yeah, Reflect Damage, not really doing it. We're going to go ahead and put Art of War back on there, and try to make it work with whatever consumables we picked up to this point. I mean, I've done a few for Romper runs. I'm sure I've got at least some consumables laying around. 3 of these things. Okay, so we've got 1 for, I believe this one's paralysis, I believe this one's poison, 3 decoys, and 3 water walks, which nobody will ever use, so why bother? Wait, for real? That's how much? Holy crap, them things are expensive. Okay, I think they were like 50 in vanilla or something like that. They're 200 each now? Oof, okay. Bit rich for my blood. Okay, for one... just to get past this fight, it's worth it. So we go claws, up our evasion a little bit. Claw and dagger. Replace cudgels with the daggers. Replace the other one with fists. So I'm going to start off with a double attack build, and then if that doesn't work, we're going to go ahead and go into the Art of War setup. And yeah, generally speaking, it's not usually advisable to go for 2 different types of weapons, just because you're essentially spending 3 skill slots on your basic attack, but I think in this case it's kind of justified, just because it allows for 1 move that could potentially give out 3 debuffs. Because you can run up to somebody, potentially leave them bound and poisoned, as well as then put somebody else to sleep. It is very RNG dependent, but as far as going all in for an RNG build, it works fairly well. Maybe not necessarily as well as, like, let's say, Claw and Hammer, or Claw and Axe or anything like that. I haven't really used the T-Rex combo in a while. Probably should. Alright, we've got 1 Cleric. We're gonna hopefully try to take out this caster first, and then go for the Cleric. But yeah, so now that I'm thinking about it, so as far as this Grimsby fight, it might make a little bit more sense. Actually, instead of going for the crafting book first, I mean, granted, we don't really have too many options in terms of potentially dealing with a gunner or anything like that, but probably would have an easier time just taking out the healer first, maybe, like while they're all piling on Lendl. Maybe, just maybe. Whatever, it's worth a shot, but one way or another we're going to need Wild Hunt, just for the very wide amount of movement that we need. Wait, are you serious? Okay, fair enough. And if that's really what you want to go for, sir. So there is a very real possibility this guy... do we want to risk it? Nah, just cut him. Oh, sweet. And a Vit card. Beautiful. Yeah, double attack might work. For reference, if anybody else came here from the FFT side of things, double attack is not really as busted in this version. Like, even in the vanilla game, it's nothing near as insane as it was in FFT. I mean, there's 1 character there was an exception for, like if you got Ozma with augment ice and double ice swords and stuff like that, but that was a very specific scenario. And I'm pretty sure most folks didn't figure that one out on their first go-through. Right, gonna give me no debuffs. Let's see how it is. Let's set up a Mind's Eye. See if we can get this guy poisoned so that he just runs off and dies in a corner somewhere. Get sidestep for the arrows. Something I didn't realize is apparently a couple patches ago, sidestep got added for Mind's Eye. It just basically means it's an overall full evasion move now. Maybe it was there for a while, I don't know for sure, but either way, very nice change. Alright, that's going to be a guaranteed shot, though. Thankfully, their max damage is fairly low. And we want to get rid of this double attack, or this two-hander guy as fast as possible. Can you take a nap? Go ahead and take a nap. The other guy's poisoned, so he won't be able to sleep. I love that little detail. It's interesting how in some cases they just put in weird details just for the sake of it makes sense and, in universe. Like, like the fact that you can't be poisoned and fall asleep because you're sitting there having a friggin' fever dream. No one really ever would have cared if they didn't put that detail in there, or if they just slowly died while, while taking a nap. But still, good touch. Now, if any of these debuffs could land, I'd be very grateful, because it seems like we're getting pretty bad luck with that. But that's what you get with an all-in RNG build. It'll happen. Is that going to poison? Yeah, that one poisons. There we go. I think the throwing daggers are like 60%. Well, shurikens. They were originally called throwing daggers for some reason. Actually, no. I think they were originally called throwing daggers because they were trying to reference multiple games because they wanted to give them the throwing shuriken from Knight of Lotus, but they also wanted to call them throwing daggers like they were in March of the Black Queen. Which, you know, cool touch and all that. Just a little bit awkward in terms of implementation, and thank you for missing. That is what I was kind of scared of there. Can I Omni Strike you? No, it's not going to be enough. Rage, no. Vendetta might do some stuff. What about a Mesmerize? Actually, yeah, Mesmerize would be perfect here. Although, why am I mesmerizing you? Okay, actually, that would be more useful. Because I mesmerize them. Do I really want to do that? I can reach that archer, actually. No, we mesmerize the archer instead. Let's make that happen. Oh, that would just kill them. Alright, whatever. Let's charm you so hard you die. Whatever works, I suppose. It's a little bit less damage. I don't have deflect or anything like that going on this guy. That was a very lucky 74% miss. That signed that lady up for XCOM now. But, you know. This is why I was excited for that near invulnerability build from last time. Because this way we can actually potentially have a few different classes combined together that would allow for maybe being able to look for better openings in these scenarios. Like, this guy has no recovery whatsoever right now. So it kind of comes down to whether we can properly dodge everything or not. I've tried going tank builds, but unless we go full tank build, it's not going to happen. Archers are becoming a huge threat. The vanilla version of the archers that got neutered down for OV, since they have all of their extra items, they're very threatening now. So I tried actually going for a deflect build for a little bit. Unfortunately, in testing, it wasn't. It's not that it wasn't useful. It's just that compared to something like parry, it didn't have as much mileage. And that largely came down to the fact that some of the times, like Mighty Strike and whatever else, will say hit for like 180 to 200, whereas a Tremendous Shot will usually do like 100. So it's just, in general, it's more useful. But, either way. Wait, what? This dude was just charmed. What the hell is he... No, seriously, though. So, they did the thing. They did mesmerize. He was charmed. And then they didn't all heal. Okay, and then what? It just fell off immediately? Rude. Alright. I mean, that happens, it's just, you know, kind of inconsiderate. How dare they immediately turn us down? We were just trying to, I don't know, convince them that Lizard Man Heaven exists. I mean, we have proof it does, it's just we haven't unlocked it yet. Alright. I mean, if you think about it, it almost seems like there's something progressive about the floating islands, or floating ruins. Because you basically have a vision of heaven that is, well, not only inclusive of absolutely seemingly everything, but yeah, as a little bit of a weird side note, also seems to have them be ridiculously xenophobic. I don't know. It feels like there's maybe some commentary on something or other there, but can't say for sure. Alright, good. That guy got his negative luck card. Alright. Oh. Crap, that was close. Okay. Alright, I need to make sure this lady still is sleeping. No, you know what? I need to get out of range. So that's potentially very dangerous, but I still need that Vit card. Because any additional point of Vit is an additional chance of winning the game. Like, this run is just basically grasping victory by inches at this point. But I'm very ready to be out of this spike shield phase right now. Throwing out a Mind's Eye in case they try to go for the lucky crit by chance. Okay, they won't. Alright, and an Omni should hopefully finish them off. Yeah, it will. Bonk, bonk. There we go. Finally. So yeah, Chapter 4 became a bit more brutal, is the thing. It happens sometimes. So what I was saying before about, gee, I hope I get this all wrapped up before the update comes in, well, didn't get it wrapped up before the update came in, long story short. Now, the plus side, though, is with that update came the fact that they actually dropped gold now, so you can get a pretty solid amount of money if you actually do manage to beat Tynemouth on a solo, but yeah. So it's more worth it. And yeah, Barong that we need. I can't believe that entire time I did not see a single bind actually proc, which is probably good, because I think it got nerfed a while ago. But yeah, bind is really good. Not necessarily for what it does, but the fact that it screws up their movement. Alright, we get up. Did we get upgraded to Gamazin? No, plated vest. Okay, apparently we could have upgraded to Gamazin a while ago. So next proper upgrade is 20. So it looks like we're going to need to win 2 more, I guess? Don't really need full ward, but we'll pick it up just in case. In case somehow, by some bizarre measure later on in the game, we end up getting really screwed over by Spendthrift, of all things. Actually, don't even know if that's still in the game anymore. But we'll try to go for Farampa again. They've got a better chance of being a bit weaker, and on top of that, they've got a chance of potentially dropping some items that we need. / want. And on top of that, they hopefully won't have a healer. Alright, now that all said, I'm just pausing it for one quick second here. I can have it run a break, because I need to go see if that was the neighbors doing something, or if the kiddos are awake, so just a moment. Alrighty, and back. I'm really thankful lately that the kiddos have started sleeping normally again. There was a little bit of a moment there where they just kept waking up at the... well, not a little bit. It was most of this year that they just started waking up at like 6:30. Or in some cases as early as 4 and just running in, "Mommy, Daddy, the sun is up. That means I'm up." And yeah, the sun was not up. Just somebody happened to be going to their job in the middle of the night. Some headlights drove by, and naturally that means it's time to be up now. Ooh, we're actually gonna... can we actually get this guy in one round? Almost. Not bad. Not bad at all. It's probably a waste putting up Mind's Eye here. But I believe we should be in a pretty good moment here. Yeah, so she's just going to plink off. Probably going to go for Balmy Breeze later. That's a bit of a threat. There we go. Good. I was going to say, that guy's probably got a whip. The other guy might have a spear. Most of the casters at kind of like mid to, or low to mid level shouldn't be doing very much, if anything at all. And that's mostly because our resistance is way higher than the game ever thought it would be at this point. Tremor can still get through, all that kind of stuff. Yes? Oh, well, he still got his damage in. It's fine, they don't have a recovery method anyway. Alright, they've still got the reflect damage though. Okay, perfect. And he's bound. We can just get out of here. Why don't we have this guy take a nap? Lame. Alright. That's fine, though. That's fine. Hopefully they don't go for a second Talon dive, because after that much damage, they've probably got 2 of them built up. We can recover out of it if we need to. Hopefully he doesn't do that, though. Yeah, he went for another one. Okay, good, it missed. Now, I will say one thing that has changed since last time. A large part of, or a large benefit of that Warlock build was the fact that it was completely self-sustaining. Pretty much all of its skills were able to keep something else going. This one is at least going to have to make use of consumables. Hopefully we're still running a pretty decent profit, so I would assume we're fine. I never would have figured balancing spreadsheets would be part of the solo run, but here we are. If we go here, he'd probably have to attack from the front. I'd assume that Griffin's almost dead. I probably should check, but whatever. So let's have her take a nap. Not quite at range, but still our evasion's about as good as it can be. Good. He's down. Probably take out the guy with the spear next. Because those casters just are barely even a factor. Oh, actually, one build that I probably should have considered. There is... I believe we actually have access to Tier 2 ninja summons, whatever the hell you'd call those things. But yeah, we should actually have access to those things, and technically speaking, we have maxed out Og Light as well as a staff build for the ninja. So, I'm thinking what do. I really should have checked if that guy had something else going on. I should have double-checked if he had parry or something like that, because that would have sucked if that got parried. But anyway. It occurs to me that, yeah, that might potentially be an option, because even in our case with our crazy high stats, those summons can still get through defense threshold, which, if we started using those, it functionally should turn into an SMG. So that might be an idea. It's 160? Yeah, no, do it. Very dead. I need to get out of caster range, and... Mr. Dog, can I assist you with something? Just over here scratching away because he's annoyed. Okay. Still within range. Still not as nuts as what's going on with endgame healers right now, though. Because seriously, them suckers can heal somebody to full across the dang map. It is, shall we say, difficult to deal with. So it kind of comes down to one-hit kill or nothing. Alright, we might be able to double attack and Mind's Eye here. So let's see, you've probably not got a finisher, right? Okay, they do technically have the option for a no, they won't be able to use it. We double attack here, this guy's toast. I still miss when daggers would do their thrust animation. Apparently that's not an option, but oh well. What can you do, right? I mean, some people were complaining that you would stab sideways occasionally. I thought it looked cool, but I mean, it kind of looked like somebody was doing like a whole gut stab thing with it, and for some reason there was a interpretation that no, they're just stabbing sideways. It's like it still looks less goofy than just slashing with a knife, but oh well. Oh well, it's fine. It's just fine. Alright, poison. No, poison did hit. It's fine, we can still outrun her. I believe they've got an axe, so they shouldn't have a long-range finisher. Poison will finish her off in a couple rounds. I'm just going to take one extra leaf for the hell of it. They really don't cost much, so might as well. And then we're going to go after the caster. Although this is interesting, because looking at it, so earlier I thought that that I ran into a team that hasn't... Well, I thought that Farampa was completely unadjusted, but some are. Okay, no, they just spawned with accessories. That's weird. I wonder what's going on with that. Let's go ahead and have you take a nap. Or not. Can we finish off this one? Yes. And hello there, Mr. Procow. Good morning. Hope you're having a good day today. Okay. Now let's see. Will attacking her make me explode? It doesn't look like it. They don't have the shield. Yeah, for anyone wondering why random stuff has reflect damage while not actually having reflect damage, it's the spike shields. The spike and shard shields can randomly spawn on units at this point. They give you reflect damage. It's usually not much of an issue. It's way more of an issue in a solo run. It's fine, though. Alright, there we go. We get to 17. Right at the very edge there. That is just experience bar blue balls right there, but what can you do? We're just right there. Although we still need to get to, like, probably 21 or so anyway. In fact, it makes sense to get it to 25, 26-ish, because if they're... well, if they're at a... Wait a minute. Alright, hang on. I'm going to reload that save, because I don't want to redo that fight again. I need to test something. Because I might be overthinking this entirely. Yeah, there we go. Let's go for Priest. Or, like, actually Knight, probably. And if we go over there, if we do the thing, are we over-leveled now? And then we do it again, and then we test if they level up to 30 or so, because... Okay, so I should probably mention, a lot of side areas don't actually have a low and high scaling. If you find something has a minimum level, that probably means that it, at the very least, will be somewhere between that minimum level and 30-something. Or, if that's not something that seems to be what's going on, what you might see is a case where they're locked into their story level, and in some cases this means that you can just completely outlevel the fight. Okay, so 24, so they seem to be scaling up, I think. Let's see. Yeah, everyone's at 24, and they were at 20-something before, so 20 is their minimum. Now, alright, so next up, we're going to see if we can flip it over to 30 and how that goes. Because if we can potentially just, like, meet their maximum and ignore it, then that's an option. Otherwise, they might just be scaling. let's go TK, I think. Otherwise, if they do scale up, hit and runs with ninjas might be the way to go, and then if that doesn't work, we'll figure out something else. But then after that, then we unlock all the fortresses, at which point we have to go clear out all the fortresses, at which point we can actually go do the fortresses. And that should give us the items that we need to actually beat the dang game, because we're not doing Hanging Gardens in our current condition, I can tell you that. Ran a couple more tests of it, and yeah, no. Might theoretically be able to get through a couple fights, but there's just... We'd basically be locked in, and I really don't want to accidentally soft lock right at the very end. Okay, so it does scale up. It's just minimum 20. Alright, next test then. Next test is going to be this wonderful thing called we're going to become level 40 all of a sudden. I know, this seems like a weird type of test to be doing, but it makes sense. Believe me when I say it makes sense, because yeah, some of these do have a maximum level as well. Because at certain points the game just decided that it does not want to let you have nice things. Actually, wait, I should probably go for White Knight, huh? But yeah, they kind of capped out certain things and prevented certain things from spawning because they don't want to let you grab those things, and or they want to let you get over leveled. It's one of the reasons I was going to let the Warlock go to 50. So potentially we could cheese that. And then after this we can go right back to Frompa. Okay, yeah, no, they completely scale up. Okay, so they probably won't... I mean, they might have a maximum in the 40s somewhere. It seems like their gear is going to be the same one way or the other. So they only have one gear set up. So we could potentially outgear them eventually. Although, in order to be able to outgear them, we have to be able to beat them without having said gear. So that doesn't really work out entirely. Okay, hit and run it is. RG Random Robot says, how would you like to be the famous? You can tell it's legit because none of the letters are actual letters. Oh well, there we go. They're gone again. Alright, so quick thing here. We have Ars Magna, don't we? Yeah, we do. I think Ars Magna has the second tier summons. If they do, that's probably where we're gonna take to Grimsby. Because if we get high rolls on the second tier summons, and especially in this case where we could potentially outscale them a little bit, because the best staff that we have has some good stuff going on there. Actually, even if we potentially go for the fire casts, maybe. Either way, we've got options. Beautiful. Oh, maybe we get a mind card? Nice. Very nice. Because yeah, this double attack dominance is not going to last, just so you know. Right now we are in a very happy bubble, and that's about it. And in fact, in order to be able to hang on to this card, what else could we potentially have here? Sidestep? Do it. I want to put up Sidestep and Fortify if I can. The stat cards have been rare enough that just getting a hold of them is a big deal. Yes, they're usually not even worth a full stat point, but, you know, anything. Like, at this point, any steps forward are steps forward. And any class that I could potentially max out is a massive benefit. So we're going to mind control this guy. This is why I go for Claw and Dagger on this, because when I was experimenting around, just having the ability to do to do a guaranteed charm as well as being able to both poison and bind and sleep on the same round was just too good. I mean, again, right now it'll dominate. Later on it won't be as useful, but it will be very good for causing chaos. And really, chaos is how we can potentially win this. It's one of the only ways we can potentially win this, because stuff is way harder than it was. So just spreading poison around, doing all kinds of mind control-y stuff. Having options for pretty much any debuff with the setup is pretty good. Just need to get rid of a strong caster. Okay, you know what? I will say MP removing moves aren't... I don't know, I feel like they need Addle added on top of them or something. I mean, it might just be this run, but in general I feel they're not nearly as good as they once were. It's just so many of the NPCs now will come with all of their regeneration and discount abilities. And that mess gets disgusting real fast. Like, casters can legitimately start healing from the first round and then potentially go into heal 4s by the second. It's nuts. Alright, so death, not a chariot or anything else. That sucks. Oh well. Come on, give me a luck bonus. That'll do. That'll do. Since the entire time in a dungeon counts as one day, I believe that luck bonus carries over, but I don't know for sure. Beautiful. Let's get this guy taken down. There is one combination I'm hoping to pick up later if we end up getting lucky and pick up the Talons. There's the Talons in the Lightning Temple, as well as one of the... what the hell dagger was it? It's just one of the other daggers that's potentially very useful. Because the claws eventually started going up to Envenom very soon. So we'll start getting those... I mean, we're really almost there anyway. Yeah, we got a lot of cards this round. I'm happy with that. But yeah, once we pick up some Envenom Claws and stuff like that, then we can maybe start making more headway there as well. I mean, really, Parrying Dagger would be nice, but... I mean, we're a long ways off from that. Apparently that thing's in Shieldcraft. I believe that's still in the Fire Temple right now. It's just one way or another we're going to be going through all of them. There we go. It feels good for now. This build feels good while it lasts. It's gonna fall off so quick. Okay, there we go, 19, and I'd like it to be 21. And I suppose while we're here, we really might as well just go through and get the stat items as well. Let's pick up Wild Hunt. Now, we haven't been using Mind's Eye very much, and I'll actually replace that with Wild Hunt. I feel like at this point, when finishers start coming in, Mind's Eye just becomes a bit of a liability. It's actually why I was thinking with this whole build that potentially an option is to have options for both Evade and Spike Shield, or what is it, Spike Skin, combined with Mind's Eye, which yeah, basically allows for ignoring one finisher and also allows for... Oof. This'll be fine. So it potentially allows for ignoring one finisher while also avoiding a lot of melee. It's another one that's very RNG dependent, but that's for extreme scenarios. Like, just, yeah, as time goes on, we might need something like that. It's just an option to keep in mind. Like, I feel at this point, our vitality is high enough that hopefully we shouldn't have as many issues as the ninja normally has. But only time will tell. I'm not entirely sure we can take on both these guys right now. Oh, jeez. Yeah, we're at the point where those archers are going to be a big problem. In fact, that's what it was. That's what I was thinking with that Grimsby fight. Is use Wild Hunt to get to the back, to get to the Archer and the Gunner, get both the ranged units out so that we can just entirely rely on parry. We can do a ton of damage to this guy, maybe put the other guy to sleep. Oh, get out of here. That said, we can also move ridiculously far right now. I think we'll just move here. Don't really need Wild Hunt right now. This tile in particular is really good for a nice combination of blocking firing angles while also giving you a chance to double attack. Although having this guy at lower health would have been very nice. Just doesn't seem like we're going to get that option. But, seeing as we're in a rough spot anyway, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go over here, we're going to Wild Hunt. We're going to go over here, and we're going to claim us a Cleric, who is then going to heal us up, hopefully. They usually go for the area heal, but it's worth a shot. Oh, come now. Right, forgot that's a thing. Never mind, that was just a waste. Should have just finished off the one guy and put the Archer to sleep. Yeah, looks like we're redoing this one. Lame. Actually, there might be an option here. If this misses. Okay, it's not a very good option anymore. Still theoretically possible, but it's a long shot. Alright, good. That movement range is nuts. Okay, so this means that we should only be targetable by the caster. Okay, not enough to do us in here. Oh. One moment, be right back. Okay, and back. And that is correct. Ads happened. Though, to be fair, that was kind of more of an accident, because I went to just go put the Vita down. And I still had the mouse, or still had my laptop in front of me with the mouse set to just hovering over the thing. So I just set it down and it started one, so I was like, whatever. I guess like 7 or 8 cents happened. I know. Affording that Lamborghini any second now. I think it's based on like the number of people there or something, but it is pitifully low. Yeah, it's looking pretty strong. Like we're gonna be redoing this one. That went very poorly. I really should have just gone for KOing the soldier guy on the left earlier. It did not go well. Taking my strength in away. Rude. Huh. We survived that? I'm gonna try to put her to sleep. She's already thrown out the most damage. Good. Not to mention we can one-shot her later. I'll probably take a couple rounds to heal up. This is just gonna depend entirely on whether we can put her to sleep a second time. Because once you land poison on somebody, you can't make them sleep anymore. We can almost get the kill here. Alright, so what's your move range? Oh, we can just slightly get out of it. Yeah, unfortunately, any tile we can hit her from, he can hit us from. So I'm thinking if we move here... Actually, no. We want to stay right here. No, I don't have Mind's Eye anymore, so I couldn't have used that anyway, and he's got a finisher. Of course he's got a finisher, why wouldn't he have a finisher? Get that crap out of here. Parry? Or that. That works too. And they've already upgraded to tier 3s, but that somehow managed to roll low. Plan, run over here and get her to sleep now. Because we can easily outrun everybody, it's just a matter of finding openings to actually hit. Oh, and the fact that we've got a relatively low max health, so we're only getting about 80 healing out of this thing instead of 100. And she is spamming like crazy. Priest is going in for the kill. That's how you know stuff's gotten dire. When the clergy's coming down for murder. Wait, what? Oops. Well. Whoops. That's deserved. For some reason I went to go for the heal there. Accidentally ate my own sleep bomb. You can do that, by the way. Funny times, funny times. Alright. Let's try that again, this time with less outright suckage, maybe. Alright, now out of curiosity, by the time we get to Damask, has that... No, that's still there. So we definitely need Fancy Claws to get up to in Venom. If we can get consistent in Venom, that probably would sort out a lot of our late game problems, because that's a lot of extra damage going around. See, because this is going better than I thought. The main issues with ninjas tend to be the fact that they can't take any hits. But so far this is looking like it might be possible to do that. Like the main two issues are coming down to the fact that it's going to be really expensive to use Evade. Like, since I originally started this run, that cost seems to have quadrupled. But that all said, I think there's potentially some other options as well. Because the whole staff build thing doesn't sound like a terrible idea. I mean, it all comes down to whether we do actually have access to Tier 2 summons. Alright, beautiful. Now we can get out of this guy's range, and... what? Why don't I have Wild Hunt on? No, well, I guess it worked out anyway. I'd say general rule so far has been if you can get a unit off the board, do it. Because usually at that point it becomes easier to recover. Just gonna throw both of them out there on the off chance that he's got a parry. Granted, yes, I could just go and check, but frankly, the dagger is such a lightweight weapon that it doesn't matter. In a lot of cases, you can just attack for free with the dang thing. I mean, that's basically its benefit over vanilla. Like, in vanilla, it was just everything. It was, functionally speaking, the ultimate weapon, but, I mean, kind of. After a certain point, it wasn't able to get past armor whatsoever, but... for a large part of the game, it scaled so dang well that you could get away with almost anything using a dagger. Alright, so next we have Knight and What's-Her-Face. We don't have a Enchantress this time, so that's probably good. Alright, why don't we just go ahead and take you and have you be on our side. Actually, two quick questions. First of all, how hard is this murder? Very hard. Do it. Do I want to do that, though? Actually, no. I want to do it from this tile. We'll go over here. We take her out from this tile. Is this one? Yeah. Boom. And there we go. There we go. And, by the way, I probably should have asked this a while ago. Audio's not garbage right now, right? I didn't accidentally leave the game audio 4 times higher than the voice audio or anything like that again. Okay, yeah, this is probably a safe option here, because there was a chance for poison, there was a chance for a lot of damage. And this might work out well, because she's got armor. Crap. Now, what I should have done there is put on Mind's Eye, because then Terrifying Impact would just miss. Because TI and Mighty Strike still count as standard attacks. Or FI. Parry? No parry. Dang it. Alright, played that wrong. That's fine. I need to back up and recover, so let's go ahead and put you to sleep. Do you want to do that? I mean, neither one's gonna really throw any finishers out there. We'll just do Mind's Eye and stay here, I guess. I think after this we're going to have to start investing in the Field Elk. The basic leaves aren't cutting it anymore. And yeah, we're mostly just going to wait out Frighten. Sure, it's giving us a lot of unwanted damage and stuff like that, but for the most part, we can just keep doing this. I mean, we can just avoid melee entirely and recover in the meantime. The only exception would be is if they started throwing out finishers, which for some reason they don't seem to be doing, so screw it. They've got the rank to do it, is what I don't quite understand about the situation. They just don't really feel like using them. Interestingly, also, apparently you can get around the can't be countered rule using Mind's Eye. Because I guess technically it doesn't even calculate for the attack being given. Oh, weird things happen. And that won't be nearly enough to outpace the damage that we're doing. So it seems like we're in a good position now. And it seems like we can still keep feeding Mind's Eye, so perfect. Perfection. Now miss, get countered, get poisoned, please. Poison, 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 do your thing. Aw. I don't know, it never seems to happen to the AI where they get a poison tick right as they're about to be free and clear. I wonder if we can get this guy to lock himself in with his own phalanxes. I think he can still hop out of that hole he's in. I guess we'll find out in a moment. Let's see. It's a 2 jump. We should be able to make that, right? Doesn't matter though. After taking that, this guy's gonna run ahead and try in vain to save his healer. In fact, I think we'll just go right here. He'll go ahead and try to take a completely pointless hit. Yeah, you remember the point at which daggers used to inflict silence? Yeah, the poison silence combo was absolutely disgusting. I think there actually is still a way to do that. Well, no, you can do that with shields, but I forget if there's any weapons that still do silence. Because basically, if you can... Oh, you know what? We should go... I know what we should do. Potentially. So, there's the option for fans, right? Now, the other one we'd be able to use is the one that inflicts sleep. That wouldn't combine with poison. I wonder. Do like bind plus sleep or something, but then it's just kind of doing the same thing at one time. I mean, I kind of like original Iron fans in vanilla there. Because you had the option for a stun fan. Not that it was mind-blowing or anything, but it was just a nice option to have on ninjas there. Ultra-right. Interesting. I think Ultra-right is that thing that creates side grades now. Alright, so first off, let's go ahead and get Wild Hunt. Second off, I'm going to try this, I'm just going to go ahead and call it an SMG build. Actually, do I want to... It almost doesn't really make sense to do that yet, because I need to get those summons going first, so no, let's go back. Then we'll deal with it afterwards. Because I already know for a fact that we're not going to be able to get past a lot of their defenses as is. I mean, we might be able to do some of them, but just not yet. Why is it so choppy? Oh, again? It might just be being choppy today. It randomly does that. Hang on, let me see. Yeah, we'll see if that helps. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it just does that. In this case, it might partially be something running in the background. Hopefully it's not what it usually is, because I've been going through the video or the output preview here. It's not showing any drop frames or anything, so it might potentially just be. It must be my connection, maybe. I don't know for sure. But hopefully that improves it a little bit. So let me know. Because I was also watching it on a different screen here. Something running in the background. Let's see. And what is your implication there? But no, it might be that the kiddos got up and decided to watch something, which doesn't sound like they're up, so I don't think so. And then, on the other hand here, it might just be because I had Twitch up on my laptop. How dare. Adult stuff. I'm not doing my taxes right now. Actually, speaking of kiddos being up, I think that might be one of them right there. Yep. That is a door. This guy with his normal stats is doing 30. Maybe we can do a lot more than that. Well, good morning. Hang on one sec. I think we know what the cause was. Yep. Yeah. I was asking my daughter there if she had gotten up and watched her iPad. goes a couple feet behind her. Yep, got my iPad. Everybody's poisoned, so can't put anyone to sleep yet. Please don't take my card. Why? Who was the dick that programmed the AI to do that? Like, I know they would have picked one of the tiles nearby, but they specifically went for... I hate that. It's one of those things. It's one of those things about this game. Like, I love it to pieces. There's so much cool stuff going on, but what douchebag decided they need to steal the stuff they can't make use of? Alright. They're not poisoned, so you can't just put them to sleep. Do. You go ahead and take a nap. At least until we can make sure that you're taking a permanent dirt nap. I was hoping this guy would go for an attack, because if he attacked and we got hit and we get a counter, then we could have just done another Howling Rage scenario here. I mean, they're not really recovering too much. Harvest Dance is kind of crap, so... We'll cover. Knife Swing, because it's quick. Take my Chariot card, because you douchebag stole my other one. Lost out of my 1 extra health. It doesn't sound like much. Wait, it pops in what way? What are we talking about? What's going on? Explain yourself. Oh, you mean the mute button. Yeah, no, the mute button has like a little pop noise. Sorry about that. I guess technically speaking, what I could do... If I do this, it doesn't pop, does it? Okay, is it good there? Does that one work fine? I mean, I'm assuming from popcorn time? What? Did the second one pop too? It shouldn't have popped. Have you been eating the special mushrooms again, Matador? There's one poor TK over here. Guys, just stop attacking from over there so I can stop getting poisoned. Just keeps chucking these dang poison daggers in my neck. So it needs double attack. Definitely need to have Mind's Eye up to protect against the FI over there. That is death. Yeah, we're just gonna go over here. Gonna move over here to hopefully dislodge them from this tile. Hopefully we can block both of these two. And then after this, there's a very small chance that we might have gotten some stat items. And we've gotten at least some cards, so that's nice. And we'll see what kind of improvements we can make from there. So I want to try out that SMG build I was talking about. Sure what you were trying for there, buddy. taking this item now so that this guy doesn't decide to suddenly go for my loots. Warlock robe, potentially useful. Well, no, not really, because I still don't have the dang stuff with the Phantom robe again. I need to look through the videos. I'm like 90% positive at one point I had a Phantom robe. Anyway, hold on one quick second. Okay. So two things happen. For one thing, we run to the store. We see if and when this is a thing that exists. It might be, it might not be, I don't know. We don't need any of those. Yeah, it's got summon too, it doesn't have ninja summons too, so them suckers must still be in POTD or something. I forget where exactly, because it's just one of those things that I never really look into. Hang on, muting for just a sec. Okay, let's do this thing. We're gonna give this one quick shot, because yeah, gotta start getting ready for the day here. I'm not sure if you can hear Doc McStuffins playing in the background here, but anyway, we're gonna give this one quick go. So, the main limiting factor over whether this can even work is the fact that this crap is friggin' expensive. So yeah, they take 50 MP to even cast. So we'll see how that goes. Basically, we have to spend an entire turn reloading to be able to even make it happen. Wait, what? Oh, right. They take TP, not MP. Oh, okay, right. In that case, is it even worth doing the staff setup? We'll see. If I'm calculating this right, it should theoretically be possible to spam the crap out of this and get some pretty overwhelming damage if the breakpoints are where I think they are. The problem is that means both action and regular turns are suddenly, well, relying on the same thing, so that's not ideal. Because yeah, it can do 96 and does that in burst damage, so potentially up to 3 attacks of 96. Yes, I know, more ads. It's just I already had to go walk away anyway, so kind of figured what the hell, why not? Didn't mean to be annoying. Yeah, I mean, I need to adjust a few things in terms of its defense here, but this build definitely packs some punch. So if we set up like a hit and run kind of thing, just isolate units, hit them with a bunch of burst attacks, set them up in such a way that the initial attack takes away most of their health, finish them off with a counter, run away. Still very susceptible to casters though, so got to deal with that. Out of curiosity, does this scale with intelligence by chance? Not really. It's just kind of its own thing. So how good is this against everybody here anyhow? Nothing against that guy. Could almost, well, could potentially one-shot them. Alright, we need to start dealing with the casters though. Let's go for a risky setup because I don't really know that I like it yet. Try to sleep on you. Try to one-shot the archer, and then just try to survive around, I guess. We're probably just dead after this point. I just want to one-shot the archer because it's fun, and we're out of range anyway, so, you know, good plan. But oh well. So it's 3 most of the time, sometimes it's 2. So we're generally looking about 300, but yeah, evasion took a massive hit for this one. So we're gonna have to see how it is with just the staff. Although that particular trick seems to work very well. You want to block that by chance? No. Okay, cool. I'm tempted to put on another ad so it doesn't end on a... Oh wow, I'm seeing that chop coming through. That is weird. That is really weird. I don't know why it's being so dang choppy. Hopefully the video version will end up fine. That's annoying. That is really annoying. Alright, well anyway. So that'll be that for now. Like I said, gotta get ready for the day. I feel like between these two, it's probably not even worth considering some of this stuff, because Yeah, I mean, they're already getting an absolute crap ton of offense as it is, and I really don't think that little bit of int is going to be enough to throw it over anywhere. So we have something like that. This is still fine for the extra crit. Skills-wise, I feel like there's more that we could be doing there. Let's see, instead of Mind's Eye here, what else could we put in? Alright, anyways, gonna wrap it up here, and then, yeah, see you whenever the next one happens.